Katie, you're here too. Thanks for popping that recording. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks you for joining us today. Today we're going to be covering OneCloud's AlertBlast solution. AlertBlast is mastering mass notification for any business. Um, a lot of people want to think of mass notification as some type of an emergency or some type of event that could incur a lot of challenges or problems, but it could be used for many different applications. So little bit about me. My name is Ben Smagas. My role here is for onboarding and product evangelism, as well as a little bit of customer success. Been around the industry for a couple of years, but more importantly here, we're here to talk about OneCloud today. So a little bit about our organization. OneCloud is rooted in a legacy of telecommunications. We're not just a software company that decided to make communication software. We trace our roots back to 1984, the breakup of AT&T, and there was a lot of challenges at that point. AT&T had the monopoly on telecommunications, and once they broke up, a lot of things changed. There's more variety of PBXs out there. And over the years, we morphed into a UCaaS or cloud-based communications company. Coming from the time of on-prem PBXs to moving to the cloud, we recognized that there was a lot of gaps and challenges along the way. Things such as analog lines, faxing, a lot of stuff, let's say even 5 years ago, was a challenge to manage moving to the cloud. And coming from the old school telecommunication background, it really gave us some insight on where some needs were, where those gaps were, and we were able to fill them with our solutions. Some of the other things that we do is we also offer UCaaS. We offer CCaaS as well as a CX or omni-channel contact center platform. We are a Microsoft Teams Operator Connect certified organization. We handle faxing. We handle POTS replacement. We also offer OneCloud Mobile as well as our AlertBlast solution. So we have a lot of different products and solutions that are out there, and we offer in-house engineering and development. So as I said, we've been around the telecom world for a while. We understand what some of those challenges are, and we come with that legacy knowledge. So as we grow and develop tools for our customers, we come with understanding the challenges that come along with it, not just basic software. To cover our agenda today, first thing we're going to talk about is the challenges of mass communication, keeping everybody informed, how to do that, what that looks like, the key benefits, so modern effortless alerts, message consistency across the board. We'll talk about an industry use case, so applications and real world examples of how that works. We'll cover a ROI breakdown, so what does it look like for cost savings for organizations. With me today is Brian Andrews. He is one of our solutions engineers. He's going to do a kind of a quick demo for us, show us some of the solutions that are out there, show us some of the customizations and integrations that come along with our AlertBlast solution. Then we'll touch base on what does a migration look like if you're using some alert tools now, maybe fragmented tools. How do you consolidate them, and what does that look like going with our organization? And then we'll open it up for a Q&A. For those of you who are joining us today, this is recorded. So if you do have some questions at the end, as I said, we'll open that up for questions. But if you have to drop early, I know we all have busy schedules. We will be sending out a copy of this to all the participants. So to go ahead and get started, I'll jump right in. Challenges with traditional alert systems. So we've broken this down into four items in per se. So we deal with cost and price, fragmented systems, environment-specific communication challenges, and reliability and response time. Break each one down. So for cost and price, a lot of businesses using different types of alert media are using multiple services. So you've got things for SMS, overhead paging, access controls, door controls, and things along those lines, internal messaging, and having multiple different tools or multiple solutions to do this messaging comes at a premium, right? So you're paying 4 different vendors or 4 different software solutions to manage these alerts instead of one, and that it can be expensive. And honestly, some of these alerts can be highly, highly expensive, especially when you get into emergency response and things along those lines. Fragmented systems, so you're dealing with multiple apps, which can lead to the last item here, which is reliability and response time. But with multiple apps, you're relying on disconnected platforms for different alert types. So maybe you want to send out a mass notification to your team, but you also need to send out some emails, and maybe you need to make a couple of phone calls. You're dealing with a couple of different tools to do that, and it's not consistent across the board. You're dealing with 3 different points of contact or 3 different touch points to send out that message or that communication, which can be a challenge, right? If you've ever played that game where you talk about what you ate for dinner and go around the table, by the time you get to the other side, your message or what you initially said can be completely different or misconstrued. So keeping that consistency is highly important. You're dealing with environment-specific communication challenges. So every workforce or every environment can be different. So depending on if you're dealing with public safety or if you're dealing with a manufacturing facility, and I'll touch base on a use case for that here shortly, everybody's environment's different. So if you're on a factory floor, or if you're working in an admin office, or maybe you're part of a service fleet, it's a challenge to uh, get the communications that need to be real time to those teams in different environments in a way that they can digest. So that's always a big problem, and especially if it's fragmented or you have multiple tools, it can make it even harder. Lastly is reliability and response time. So disconnected systems increase response time in emergencies where seconds matter. This one's kind of near and dear to me. My father was a fire chief. I was a first responder. I truly know that seconds do matter. So ensuring that you're able to get a message out to your team, to the public, or to your workforce to ensure that they are evacuate a building or do something along those lines in a timely and effective manner is incredibly important. So again, cost and price, fragmented systems, environment-specific communication challenges, and reliability and response time. These are all challenges that customers face when trying to do notification or alerts. So to move on to some of the benefits of our tool, number one, we are multi-channel communication. And by that, I mean AlertBlast delivers real-time messages across SMS, voice, email, apps, paging, wallboards, IP phones, and more, ensuring that you have timely communication with any audience. So again, depending on your environment or what you're doing, everybody's going to digest this information differently. And it's important that you get that information or those alerts or those updates to them in a way that they're going to process the quickest. Additionally, you have a user-friendly interface. So with our solution, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. One, you're essentially going to create your message. What type of message do you want? Is that going to be a voice message, SMS, or maybe even a call? You're then going to select your delivery method. With your delivery method, that's where you break it down into the different channels. Are you dealing with email? Are you going to deal with a voice call? Is it going to be a text message? Or are you going to interface with a device? So a device could be open some doors, or do I need to turn on a strobe light, or do I need to interface with a paging device to send a certain message over the paging system? And then lastly, you're going to select your group. A group within our solution is a combination of contacts. With our solution, you can have unlimited contacts, and then you take those contacts and you nest them within a group based on how you need to communicate with them. So churches use this quite often. They'll have their congregation in there, and they can send out an SMS alert to their congregation, but some of the congregation might prefer email. It really depends on the team or demographic. So you're able to segment them into groups, and then you drop that group on the delivery method, which will determine how or what message is going to be sent out in what manner. And lastly, you send it. So it's very, very simple. And Brian's going to give us a breakdown on what that looks like. We also offer scheduling, two-way messaging, dedicated numbers, unlimited contacts, delivery reports, and analytics for better communication and insight. Two-way messaging is very, very important. Reason being is, if you were using this for an emergency, let's say that's there might be a shooter on campus, God forbid, and you need to communicate with the individuals who are on campus. So you have a list of all of their information, their telephone numbers, you send a message out to them, And you can communicate with them and say, hey, are you safe? If you're safe, where are you located? And that gives you a lot better capabilities of finding those individuals and getting them to the safe location. Um, when it comes down to the delivery reports and analytics, that's super important. We have one of our marketing team on the call with us today. They want to know that information. This email campaign that I sent out, or this message that I sent out, how many people are opening it? What's my open rate? Are they clicking any links inside of it? Like, are they interfacing with that stuff? Super important to know that your message your message is being or is effective and being utilized correctly. And lastly is customization and integration. As I said, we've grown over the years from an old school telecom company to a cloud-based solution provider. In-house, we provide uh, custom software development. So we already interface with tools like Salesforce. We connect into Microsoft via webhooks. We do have dialers and things like that that connect directly into Salesforce and help provide analytics and things along those lines. But when it comes to the customization, Brian's going to show you one of the solutions that we developed for a local municipality where they wanted to look a certain way, and it was designed for communication with their community. And we were able to develop the software and morph it around their needs to better suit them. So a lot going on there. A couple of places that utilize your alerts. So with alerts, you've got emergency alert systems, mass notification systems, industrial monitoring equipment, things like pump stations that might need to get notifications when something breaks down or a pump breaks, weather and disaster warning systems. We're here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Everybody went out and got their bread and milk sandwiches yesterday. We're supposed to be getting quite the snowstorm, or a quarter of an inch, whatever it's going to be. But having the ability to communicate that out is very important. And I'd also like to point out IT infrastructure monitoring. This is a big one. So our organization, we are cloud-based. And with that, we have multiple nodes and multiple devices and equipment that are, around the country to ensure that our clouds and our tools and our software is running efficiently at all times. However, you still need to monitor that. You need to make sure that it's running at its peak performance, and you have the resources and the tools available to fix it. Our CTO utilizes this tool for different types of alerts that may come off of the tech stack. So, for example, he's going to get alert A. Alert A might say, it's not super urgent. It can be looked at in the morning, but it definitely needs to be triaged. Essentially, he can set up an alert that will send an email, come in as a help desk ticket, a ticket to his engineering team, and one of his staff can look at that first thing in the morning, mitigate whatever risk that is, and move on their way. However, Alert B might be far more urgent. It could be nefarious or mission critical and has the potential to greatly impact our customers using our solutions. That can be turned into an SMS and a phone call where that notification goes out immediately and somebody's eyes are on that right away, looking into what that issue is and trying to find a solution as quickly as possible and to drill down on any downtime or any impact it might have on our customers. With that said, there's a lot of different companies out there that offer alerts. You've got a couple here at the bottom of the slide. You've got Twilio, you've got PagerDuty. All of these solutions do alerts, but kind of in their own way. Twilio is really awesome on SMS, but doesn't really tie into any other tools. Or Brivio, which is more for the emergency aspect. But again, it doesn't do great for employee communications to update shifts or changes in schedules and things along those lines. So consolidating those tools into one place is definitely it's definitely a huge benefit to cut down costs, but also streamline communication and response times for alerts that you may have. So with that said, I'm going to talk quickly about a use case. One of the places that we deployed this, and this organization already happened to be one of our UCaaS customers, but it was a large manufacturing company. They do production of PVC pipes. If you have plumbing in your home, and I hope you do, more than likely their name's going to be on one of those pipes somewhere. But this was a large facility, and they had a lot going on. So they had a large manufacturing facility. In the manufacturing facility, they had loud machines. They had large extruders. It was a dangerous environment. So you definitely didn't have people walking around on their cell phones checking their Facebook or looking for updates. Their admin office was separate from the main building, so you had to go through a couple of corridors. It was out further out in the parking lot. But this is 2025, so they had some, kind of a hybrid workforce. They had some employees that were working remote. They had some people who were out to lunch that particular day, and then they had some individuals who were part of the supply chain. So they are driving the service vehicles or the fleets and flatbeds, delivering this product or solutions to the warehouses or distribution centers. They came into a scenario where in this industrial park where they were at, one of the businesses close by had a chemical leak. Uh, in turn, what happened is the fire department showed up at their admin office, walked in, told the individuals there in the admin office that they needed to evacuate the building and leave. They had some processes in place to ensure that they can collaborate and communicate this to their team, but it wasn't really as effective as they had wanted it to be. So essentially, somebody from the main office went over to the manufacturing facility, started trying to reach out to supervisors, telling them, hey, this is what's going on. We need you to evacuate. And it was kind of a mess, right? You've got people who are in the service fleet out delivering products, trying to call in to dispatch to get further information. Dispatch isn't answering. What's going on? So everything's fragmented. They're trying to get people out of the building and trying to get people to a location where they're going to be safe. They had some moderate alerts in place. They were able to use for some of their members. They were using some Twilio for SMS and messaging. But again, uh, not everybody could communicate in the same manner. We're not all in front of our computers all the time. We're not all in front of our phones. So it made it a challenge. So they realized that they needed to make a bigger investment in how to essentially make this a little bit more fluid for the safety of their team and to ensure that the communications were pushed out effectively. So they were looking into spending more money on alerts and increasing what they were already spending on some of these alerts. And they had alerts on some of their machines as well, not necessarily emergency alerts, but monitoring of temperatures and things along those lines. So essentially, they came to us and we were talking about them with it during one of our. Basically, we do touch points where we reach out to our customers, check in, see how they're doing. They brought up this scenario, and we discussed AlertBlast. We said, this is some of the tools that we use. This is how it's used. These are some of the alerts that you can interface with. And it turned out that it was a perfect solution for them. In turn, what they now had was SMS communication out to any remote employee or even their service fleet, as well as their remote employees. We were able to integrate with their overhead paging, as well as some strobes and wall boards that would put notifications across it. So for those who were in the manufacturing facility, didn't just have an audible notification, but they had a visual notification. As I said, it was loud and uncomfortable out there. They had headphones on to mute the noise. So ensuring that they were able to see that was a really big deal. But then being able to quickly communicate this to 500 plus employees across multiple environments was huge for them. They were actually looking to increase the amount of money that they were spending in regards to notifications and response times and safety. And in turn, we actually ended up saving them $4,500 reduction in annual cost. So to move on from that, so they were paying somewhere around $6,300 for all of these different devices. They were interfacing with security systems. They were interfacing with some of their machines. As I said, they had SMS communications. They had Teams, Microsoft Teams for some users that they didn't even really, the only reason it was there was for communication. Some of these employees didn't really utilize it for anything else. We were able to move them over to our AlertBlast solution, and they were running around $3,400 annually. So was for them. It was a cost reduction of 45%, which I mean that's $2,800 for me is quite a bit of money. So for them, it was a big win, but less about the capital. They now know that they had increased reliability. They had a more flexible way to communicate with their employees and other devices. As I said, we can API into just about anything. So if it excuse me, if it can. Let's try that again. If it can API, we can interface with it. So in the long run, it made a big difference for their organization and streamlined those notifications. We don't just fit into manufacturing. Just two other quick use cases. We have quite a few that we do deal with, as I mentioned as well. We already work within churches, which is a big deal for us. But education, delayed lockdown alerts, and things along those lines can put students and staff at risk. I'm a parent with children. I get these notifications, as well as maybe bus 45 is going to be late picking up my kid that day. So in turn, I know that I'm likely going to be late that day. But our tools will be able to send immediate SMS, email, and voice alerts, and it can offer enhanced safety because a lot of these are going to go out within under 10 seconds. Healthcare, another big place, slow, fragmented emergency communication. Spent some time in a hospital myself. There's all kinds of communications that go through overhead paging to notify public safety, or maybe something's happening in a room. So having these tools available to quickly and efficiently communicate with individuals, both in the public sector or internally, is a huge win for you. So with that said, as I mentioned, I did have a guest with me today, Brian Andrews. Brian has been with us for a very, very long time. Brian was actually my manager for a very long time. Taught me a lot. Was a great mentor, a great person to know. And he's going to show us a little bit more about AlertBlast today and give us a demonstration, and we'll go from there. So Brian, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it, sir. I'll go ahead and turn this over to you.
Thanks, Ben. So, like Ben said, my name is Brian Andrews. I'm a sales engineer here at OneCloud Corporation. I've actually been here for, I think this month is now 29 years. I'm very proud to be part of this company, and I'm very proud of the things that we do as an organization and how we can work to customize our platforms that we have in the back end. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. And I'm going to show you all the inside of the AlertBlast platform. When you first open up AlertBlast, it's going to give you the basics where you can send your message, you can choose your delivery method, you can choose your contact group, and then easily send your message. The first thing that it's going to say on here is the contacts. There are two different licensing platforms that we go by. We can either do a contact-based platform or a credit-based platform.
Real
So,
quick there, Brian. Sorry to
yes,
interrupt,
sir.
but I'm not sure if you're sharing. Not
Can
sure
I
if
see
that
my
didn't.
screen?
No, sir.
Okay. Sorry about that. Let me try that one more time.
There we go. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, we have a contacts-based platform and a credit-based platform. I have a demo system here, so it kind of shows both, but yours would actually show it up on top. And as you do send messages, it will count down and kind of let you know what you have. You also have different campaigns. So this here happens to be a mixed campaign. A campaign happens to be uh, you have to register with 10DLC with the carriers to essentially say what kind of campaign you're going to use. You can use this for, again, emergencies. You can use it for just basic information, school closing. You can use it for marketing as well. Okay. I am only going to give you the 50,000 foot view here because this is completely customizable. So I could spend a lot of time going through every option that we possibly have. But I want to just kind of show you some of the basics. I can add my contacts in here. We do have manual contacts. We can import from CSV. So if you have several different uh, users or contacts that you want to add, you can quickly add them with via CSV. And you also have Salesforce, so we can tie in directly into Salesforce, just as Ben had said. We can also batch edit our contacts. There is something here that's very important. It's got a DNC list, which is the do not contact list. Okay, so if you did have anybody that opted out of a campaign, they would show here. Then we also have groups. So Ben was mentioning groups. I can add as many groups into the platform as I want, and I can select the members that I want to put in those groups. So in other words, if I want to just add a group, I can name it anything that I want. I can just add a quick description of it. Once my groups are made, I can edit them and add more people to the group. Okay. I can also create an invite. So once I have my group built, if I want to send a QR code, I can just select the group that I want to add and submit it. It will give me a QR code that I can email out. I can even, have a user just go ahead and select the QR code, and they can go ahead and become part of the group. So if you have maybe attendance, or for a school, if you have anything where you want to reach out to parents, you can use the QR code. They can access it if it's for uh, weather or related issues. They would have all of their information right there. Inside of each group, after I've built my contacts and my groups, when I'm ready to send my blast, I can quickly just add a blast in here. I'm just going to name this a test. I give it a little description with a test alert. And then it kind of gives me a basic script here, but I can incorporate anything that I want to put in here and just say, good morning. If I want to personalize it, I can use the first name. Maybe I want to put the last name in there. I can add pauses. I can put a tone in there. I can put custom messages in as well. And I can just say, the office is closed for inclement weather. And then I can select however I want to send these messages. So if I want to send just a text alert to a specific group, I'm going to just send it to my projects test group here. Maybe I want to send text alerts to them, but I want to call another group and play that message, that audio file. I can send it to a completely different group here, a Spanish group, and talk to them. Now I can upload an image. I can also upload an audio file. We do have a customer that has a large, excuse me, they have a large warehouse where they have a lot of Spanish speaking people there. So they do send out audio messages to the to both groups. They select a Spanish group and an English group, and then they go ahead and just send out those messages. So if they need to send anything to their to the people out in those warehouses. We do also have different devices that we can use. So as Ben was saying, this is completely customizable with APIs. We can also add SIP devices. We can add analog devices in, if we had to add a device, maybe a SIP device to connect to your analog system or to your existing paging system. That's something that we can do as easily as well. Once I've sent out a message blast, it's going to actually give me the option to save it or schedule it for other times. And then I can actually see all of my jobs. It'll give me my previous jobs that I've sent. Okay. I can look at my saved jobs, and I can look at my scheduled jobs as well. From my saved jobs, I can send out blasts directly from here as well. I can also view the webhook. So if there was any kind of customization where I want to uh, connect these, I can also rekey the job so it sends another blast as well. Okay. There's also a dashboard that is associated with these. And on that dashboard, this is something that we use for a company that we have that's in the Winston-Salem area. And what they do is the building that they own is about 14 floors. They have a security department that actually sits downstairs and checks people in. So I've set up kind of an example of what they do on theirs. They can just have a dashboard open where they can select and run the blast from each one. So in other words, if somebody walks in the door and they want to visit somebody on the second floor, as a security team, I can just open up, I can run the blast, and what it'll do is it now sends a message to the people on the second floor saying, hey, there's a visitor in the lobby, or we're sending somebody up. Whatever you want it to say, we can put in those blasts. So again, this one that they have is 14 floors. They have one for every floor. And they let the people at the front desk know that somebody's waiting for them. We can also do keyword triggers. So if you were to leave a message for somebody and you can have them respond back to you. So if you want them to join into a group, you can just say select join. They can text it back to you and it would say something like this: you have been subscribed to receive new updates for projects, right? Some of the other integrations, Ben kind of talked about them quickly, was uh, we do Salesforce. So we do have the, that's our most common. So we've actually put the instructions in here for you all. But if you want to add new integration, you can just select it. Give you a new Salesforce instance. It'll ask you for the security token, the password, and you can collect directly to your Salesforce instance. With Teams, when you do send it with Teams, we can have the connectivity with there. What it does is it adds it to the conversation within Teams. So on the left-hand side, if you open up Teams, you'll actually have your campaigns, and it can show right in there with your conversation, your activity under Teams. There is SOS configuration as well. So with schools, we have a large community center downtown in Charlotte. They use this feature. There's an app on your phone where we can set up a specific uh, an SOS key. They can press that button. What it does is it sends a blast out saying, "Hey, I need assistance," and it will pinpoint. So these people are in actually different areas in parking lots, and they have assigned spaces. So when they go to their parking area, if there is an issue, they can just press a button on their phone that says, "Hey, I need some assistance in parking lot A or parking lot B," anything like that. Okay, you can do active shooter messages. We do buttons on phones. We have instances where we actually have a mental facility where they have a button underneath their desk. When they press that button, if there's somebody in the lobby that maybe has an issue, they can quickly alert anybody in on their team that they need to get to the front. Schools now are requiring you to actually have a button in your classrooms. So we can add a button inside of a school classroom. It can page overhead over your existing speakers. It can send a text. It can send a phone call. We can send an email. Uh, we can flash lights if you want to, right? Some of the other features that we have, I know Ben kind of touched on them quickly. With our integration, one of the things that we do integrate with relays. With the relays, we can, if somebody opens up a cabinet door or somebody opens up a door within a warehouse, we can warn you that somebody's come into the building and just alert that, okay, somebody's come into the back warehouse, somebody opened the back door, somebody's opened up our cabinet in our colo facility, right? Any kind of relay we integrate with. We use them for temperature sensors. So Ben mentioned that we have a CTO who uses this quite often. Well, he also has in his server room, he's got a thermometer, and that thermometer is connected to a relay. When that server room goes to, you know, a temperature that he doesn't want, it sends him an alert that he needs to get there. Maybe the air conditioner is off, or he's picking up too much moisture in the room itself. We do also do reminders. So this, I think, is a real cool feature here. We have a dental office that uses this as well, okay? And what we can do is you can load through a CSV file, put your patients in there and what their description of what their procedure that they're having. So this one here, Roy happens to be getting a root canal. we're going to send him a notification. We can send him a second notification as well, reminding him, hey, you have an appointment at this time. And then we have an auto dialer feature as well. The auto dialer campaign can be connected directly to our OneCloud phone system, where we can have our service team, if they were calling out, or our sales department, if they need to make specific calls, we can load a list of contacts that they have to reach out to. Maybe they have to reach out to every 3 months to all of their customers. Well, we can download that CSV file, and you can use this so they can specifically just dial out to those customers. Okay. The other platform that I really want to show you again was, we keep telling you that this is customizable. Everything is customizable here. So we had a customer recently who reached out to us. It's a local town, and they wanted to have AlertBlast, but they wanted to have it a little bit different. They didn't want to have all of the bells and whistles and all the options. They wanted to reach out to the elderly in their town to do a wellness check for them. So what they did was they spoke to us and said, hey, we have an old platform. What it does is it calls out to the elderly and asks them, are you okay? If they press 1, they're okay. If they press 2 or any other button, it goes ahead and alerts whoever they want within the town to let them know that this person is not okay. So they said that this old platform no longer really works reliably anymore, and they can't get support on it. So they asked us to help them out, and we sat down and spoke to them, and we came up with a plan, and we implemented this plan just recently, so it looks similar to this. And this is Wellness Check, and this is something that I'm very, very proud of, because we sat down and we had a platform. We had something that we kind of said, hey, this is what it's going to look like. And our customer came to us and said, hey, we'd like it to look a little different. And our engineers sat down and said, we can do this for you. And this is what it looks like. So it's Wellness Check, comes up with a dashboard. It lets us know how many active wellness checks are going for the day. This refreshes every day, so it'll let you know that you have an active wellness check. You have your contacts as well. So it just lets you know how many people that you're reaching out to. I believe theirs is about 75 of the elderly people that have uh, signed up for this service. And down below, it'll let you know what's happened on the wellness check itself. So for me, this is just a test. It's my phone number, my address, and the scheduled time that it's going to reach out. And it'll tell me whether anything's happened or not. And in a second, I'll kind of show you what it looks like here. If for some reason it reaches out and the person selects okay, it will just give you a standard response saying that the person's okay. You attempted to make a call and the scheduled time that the call was made. If they did not respond with okay, it's going to put a big red line across the screen there and let us know that the response is not okay. And then we can also look at the call logs and see exactly what happened, if their person, uh, how it reached out to them, whether it reached out via phone call, text, or email. What it does on this platform is it actually reaches out to all of the police in town. So if they're on the job and they're driving around, they'll get a text, they'll get an email within their car, and they'll get a phone call on their town paid cell phone, letting them know that they need to check on this person. And it works similar to AlertBlast itself, where we can just add the contacts within the system. We can select our messages. So with this one here, we actually add 4 messages. And the first message is, this is OneCloud calling to check on you. If you're okay, please press 1. If you're not okay, please press 2. What it does in this instance is, if they press 1, it, of course, okay, everything's good. If they press 2, automatically it sends out an email again, a text, a phone call to let these people know you need to check on somebody. And then if they, for some reason, they can't hit 2, what it'll do is it waits 5 minutes, it calls back. If they don't hit a button again, it waits 5 minutes, calls back. If they don't hit anything, it automatically again alerts the police department, letting them know, hey, you need to go check on somebody. Okay. So all it says here is if I've gone through all that and somebody doesn't hit, that they're okay, it's just going to send a message like this to the police. This is a wellness check alert. First name, last name at so and so phone number. Did not respond okay to a wellness check. Here's their address. Again, here's their address. So lets us know we need to go check on somebody and make sure that they're okay. Okay. We can schedule these wellness checks. Doesn't matter how many wellness checks you schedule. You can do them for different times of the day. Some of these people want to be reached out at 7 o'clock in the morning. Some of them want to be reached at 7 p.m. Some of them want to be reached at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. We can do all of that for you. And then, of course, there's reporting for this as well. So, again, this is something that I'm really, really proud of. Um, we built this from scratch and came up with something for the local town. And there are actually a couple other towns that I've spoken to that are very interested in this as well. It's a really, really good platform, both AlertBlast and the Wellness Checker. Eventually, what you'll see is this Wellness Checker will be down here on the bottom below Auto Dial. It will be, I believe, on the next implementation of AlertBlast where you'll actually see it down here. Okay, but I think that's going to be my 50,000-foot view of AlertBlast, and I look forward to any questions that you all might have. Ben, I'm going to send it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. I really, really appreciate it. It's a lot of information, it's called Alert Blast, but it does a whole heck of a lot more than just sending out alerts. It's got a lot of other flexible tools and features, and especially if you need to get multiple, types of alerts concatenated or combined into one unified experience. This is a tool for you. So, Brian, again, thank you so much for your time. I'll go ahead and share one more thing here. We are close to wrapping up, but I just really wanted to talk real quick about what it looks like to transition to our Alert Blast or any solution in general, right? So some of the things that are really important to understand, especially when you're combining all of these tools, all of these notifications, mission critical or not. What is a good process to follow? So with our organization, the first thing that we're going to do is an assessment phase. At that point, we're going to evaluate your infrastructure and communication. How does it look? What communication or alerts do you need to combine? Do we need to combine some machine notifications, door ingress, egress? We need to interface with your paging. Do we need to interface with card readers, things along those lines? As I said, if it can API, we can work with it, but some of that has to be configured. So it's not always just a flip of a switch. However, we have the right team to evaluate that and understand that. After that, we move into a planning phase, determine the scope of work, develop and customize the deployment phase. What do we need to interface with? Some solutions might be simple. Might be a VIP program for a local cell phone business, and they want to send out a blast saying, "Hey, we've got a discount on these phone cases this month," or maybe something like a large church that has schools and everything tied into it, or like the manufacturing facility. There's a lot that goes into that. So what does that look like? Let's plan it out, ensure that there's minimal to no downtime whatsoever. And then we'd move on to a deployment phase. During the deployment phase, of course, we'd install any necessary equipment, test everything, and transition the system seamlessly over. With our organization, we do provide training and ongoing assistance. A couple of important things to understand about training, just from my experience in the past, we can do remote deployments and remote training, and we can do on-site. In my personal opinion, on-site training is far more effective. We can get in the face of everybody, ensure that that knowledge is absorbed and the right stakeholders are interfaced with. But we can also do that remote training. The big caveat there, I think, in just my personal opinion, is on-site training is more effective. However, that does come with an added cost. So, if you need to get this slammed in, not a big deal, and you'll work through any roadblocks and bumps along the way, remote might be the way for you. But if you don't want to ensure that there's any, you want to make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody's properly trained, and the transition is absolutely seamless. On-site training might be something that's a little bit more beneficial. We do offer fast track deployment of any of our solutions. So as I said, we don't just offer AlertBlast. We have UCAS, CCAS, faxing, POTS replacement. We offer everything along those lines. So if fast track deployment, or you have an emergency or something that needs to go quickly, we can certainly do that for you. You can check out the resources at onecloud.com. Or check out support.onecloud.com, or give us a call. Any one of our team would be more than happy to help you. I sent out the invite, so I think a lot of you may have my contact information. Feel free to hit me up. I'll help you out with anything that I can. And if it's something outside of my wheelhouse, I will connect you with the right team. So with that said, I hope that this gives you kind of an idea of what OneCloud is, what we can provide. We can offer more. We offer more ways that we fit to succeed, and a little bit more understanding of what our AlertBlast solution is. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up to Q&A. Just a heads up, I muted everybody at the beginning of this webinar. If you do want to say something, in the lower bar on your screen, you're going to see a little hand, stop hand there. Go ahead and raise your hand, and one of our moderators will unmute you, and we will answer any questions that you have. So with that said, I want to thank you again. I'll go ahead and open this up for questions. All right. All right. Well, if there's no questions, just a heads up, we will be offering a recording of this webinar, and additional resources will be shared soon. We will have a standing webinar moving forward every Wednesday covering our solution. So if you want to learn more, feel free to register for those webinars. You can see more information on our social media, everywhere from LinkedIn to Facebook, Instagram, and more. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.